right, well, happy Friday, Central Georgia. It's Meteorologist Ansley Parker here. I'm in for Alex Pry this morning. He will be back as we head into next week to do your daily stream starting on Monday. But I'm going to handle the one for this upcoming weekend, and I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of heat in store. That's going to be one of the main things that we're talking about throughout the entire half hour here. Scorching heat is in store for the upcoming weekend. That is going to be the most notable thing. And other than that, the story has not changed much from the last couple of days into the next few days and into the weekend. We're going to be dealing with the same kind of conditions that we've been having for the early week. So we're going to talk more about that here in a minute, but that does mean that the rain chances are going to continue to stay low. So that's kind of a good and bad thing, right? Because we'll have clear skies for the weekend, but that does mean that it's going to allow for more heat to enter into our area. That means that rain chances really stay isolated to a pop-up afternoon shower or thunderstorm. And again, that's been the case for the past couple of days. So those are your headlines there. And that's what we're going to get into in this weekend stream, as well as many other things that you can look forward to in the forecast for the upcoming weekend and some exciting things going on in space as well. So let's start off by taking a look at the sky cam here. This one is downtown Dublin, and it started off with really clear skies this morning. When we were taking a look at all of the sky cams, we had really nice clear skies all morning long in most areas. Now that we've kind of started to have some sunshine, you can see that the sun has lent itself to a couple of clouds beginning to pop up there. And as we head into the afternoon, that means we could see a couple of showers and storms pop up as well. But at least for right now, it's a clear sight. What you can't see is how warm it probably is already at the moment. Taking a look at temperatures across the area, you can see that even though it's only 10:30 in the morning, we've already found our way well into the 80s in most spots. Low 80s in a couple of the luckier areas like McRae and Eastman. The upper 80s in some of the warmer spots. Warner Robins at 87. Gordon, Milledgeville, Sparta, and Eatonton have been the warmest all morning long. They're sitting at 86 now, and again, it just won't be long until we find the 90s here across the area. Now, one thing that does not differ across the board is the humidity. I'll point out, we do seem to be having an issue with the dew point sensor down there in Montgomery County. They are humid as well, don't get me wrong. That's just kind of an error that you see on the map there. Otherwise, just take a look at how dark green this map is. Now, this is actually a lot more dark green than the past couple of days. You can see that the direction the flow is coming. We're getting some southwesterly flow this morning, and you can see just how high that's driving up the numbers. So throughout the day today, if you're feeling like it feels even more humid than the past couple of days, you're not wrong. It is really humid. The dew points right now up to 80 degrees in a couple of spots. Chris County seeing 83, Unadilla seeing 81. So really truly oppressive air out there, and that's going to stick with us for the rest of the day today. Of course, it's already lending itself to feels like numbers in the triple digits. That means areas that are only sitting in the 80s are already feeling close to or at the triple digits, which is just absolutely crazy to say. Gordon feeling like 103, Cordele down there feeling like 100, McRae feeling like 100, Vidalia probably feeling warmer than 75 if that sensor was working, and elsewhere it's already feeling like the upper 90s. So what you're seeing right now on these maps with the crazy humidity and the really high feels like numbers, unfortunately, that's going to be the case for the rest of the day today. And like I said in the headlines, that's going to be kind of the marking story for the upcoming weekend as well. We're mostly talking about heat for the next couple of days. So for today, at least, the high temperature will be in the mid 90s. Again, with the feels like numbers, it will be a lot closer to the triple digits, and there is a chance at relief. If you are one of the luckier spots today, you will be on the receiving end of a brief shower or thunderstorm as we head into the afternoon and evening. Not everybody's going to see this. It's kind of the same story that we've seen all week long. These are going to be hit or miss, typical summertime patterns, that showers and storms. And again, if you get one, you're actually going to be in one of the luckier areas. If we transition over to the satellite and radar, you can see that that is the case. Things are really quiet right now. As you know, when we hit the heat of the day and start to transition over to the afternoon, a couple of isolated storms will begin to fire off. But if we take this big picture and talk about the upcoming weekend, remember, I said this is going to be kind of the same pattern through the weekend as well, because take a look at the southeast right now. There's not a lot of things to note. You can see some activity beginning to bubble up down there in southern Alabama, and otherwise, there's not a ton of things going on here. There's no major weather maker heading our way in the next little bit or so that's going to be the next driver of some rain chances here. It's mostly quiet aside from one area that I didn't mention, which is these disorganized showers and storms that are over here in Louisiana. Now, if you remember, for the last week or so, we've been monitoring this low pressure system that moved over into the Gulf for potential tropical development. That's what this is. You can see it's now pushed further inland and is causing some shower and thunderstorm activity over in Louisiana. So the good news is, now that this has made its way onto land, it's not really sitting over the warm Gulf water anymore, and it's basically running into a lot of stuff that's going to disrupt the organization of its overall system. So because of that, the National Hurricane Center has been able to drop this as an area of potential tropical development, saying it's not expected to intensify into a tropical system. And not only that, but there are no other areas, at least as of right now, that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring for tropical development. So no activity expected within the next 7 days, which I'll tell you what, on the weather team, this is always a welcome sight. So we're quiet for right now, and that may beg the question, where do we stand for this time of year? That would have been our fourth name system of the season, but we haven't seen that name being taken just yet. That would be Dexter. Remember, we just had Tropical Storm Chantal that made landfall near Myrtle Beach, and we're still waiting to see what the fourth name system of the year will be. So how are we trending compared to where we should be for this time of year? Well, if you'll remember, these are kind of the predictions from Colorado State and from the National Hurricane or from the NOAA Center, kind of telling us what we should expect for the upcoming season. We'll note that there has been no hurricanes so far yet. We've had 3 tropical storms, Andrea, Barry, and Chantal, and we haven't seen any hurricanes just yet. Now, if this seems like we're running a little bit behind, we're actually not. It's not uncommon for us to not have a hurricane just yet. You'll remember, hurricane season gets off to a pretty slow start here in the Atlantic. We typically see our first hurricane right around August 1st. So we're getting close to the end of July. We probably could have another system here soon that could become a hurricane. The waters get warmer, the conditions just become more right for a hurricane to form. So right now we're not running too far off of average. Again, we've had a couple tropical storms, and we'll kind of see what our first hurricane is. If we take a look at climatology for hurricane season, you already are quite familiar with this, but we won't really see the truest peak of activity until we get into late August and start talking about September and October. That's where we'll likely see a lot more activity. We'll just continue to keep our eye on this for the next little bit or so. I'll enjoy the quiet parts while we're here. I don't really feel any need to rush into August and September and see the peak in this activity. We'll just kind of take this while we can get it, because right now things are quiet, and hopefully at least staying that way through the next little bit or so. So that's the tropics, but what about here in our area? I mentioned that our rain chances are not going to be great over the next couple of days. That doesn't mean that they're going to be 0. There still is a rain chance on the 7-day forecast, and you still do have a chance at getting a brief shower or storm. Again, I kind of mentioned the people that do see rain will be the luckier spots, because rain is going to lend itself to cooling the numbers down in the areas that it falls over. Again, it's just really that typical summertime thing though. So the coverage on some of these showers and storms is really not going to be too great. If we play this out through the rest of the day today, you can see that's the pattern through this afternoon as well. Just as we head into the heat of the day, a couple of these isolated showers and storms begin to pop up. Similar to the summertime thing, some of these showers and storms have the chance to maybe have some gusty winds, potentially develop some hail as well, but we're not in any sort of storm prediction center outlook or any sort of outlook for severe weather, just kind of paying attention as we normally do to these cells as they pop up if they just try to get a little bit gusty from time to time. So that's the look at the rest of the day today. The upcoming weekend follows a very similar pattern. We'll start Saturday morning off nice and clear like we did this morning, and then you know the drill. As we head into the heat of the day, some of that activity will begin to fire up, just kind of hit or miss showers and storms from time to time. Things that don't last very long. So if you've got outdoor plans today and tomorrow and Sunday, and you do happen to catch a shower or storm, just enjoy the cooler air as it sits over you, because this shower or storm will likely move on fairly quickly. We're really just talking about that normal summertime pattern. That's throughout the day Saturday, and would you believe me if I told you we'll do it one more time heading into Sunday? Same kind of thing, dry morning, and then heading into the afternoon and evening, some of those showers and storms will begin to fire up, but very hit or miss. We're still not talking about anything widespread. So overall, it's going to be a mostly dry weekend. In fact, I think a lot of spots will go without seeing any rain in the upcoming weekend, but there's a chance at catching something that is maybe short-lived and rolls by your area. Now, what about the long term? There's not too many changes as we start talking about the upcoming work week, but there is something worth mentioning. I know we just don't have a lot of changes in the upcoming forecast, so even a slight difference may make a little bit of a difference in the forecast. So Monday, we're going to start to have a little bit of a change in our atmosphere. Right now, we're being dominated mostly by an upper level high pressure system as we kind of head into the work week. What's going to happen is one of those backdoor fronts that you hear us talk about from time to time, one of those wedge events. Now, it's the summer, so it's not really going to set up as strong as they normally do when we see in the spring or the fall. But we're going to have one of those try to kind of set up in our area, and that may just bring a little bit of increased coverage on a couple of those pop-up showers and storms. So we'll up the rain chance slightly for Monday, for Tuesday, and then likely for Wednesday as well. I'm not talking about anything majorly widespread heading through our area, but you may have a slightly better chance at catching one of those showers and storms that I was mentioning earlier. Now the thing is, as we head into Thursday, that will start to break apart, and then the rain chances will start to drop back down to what you saw earlier this week. So lower rain chances for Thursday and likely for Friday as well, but you do know the drill. This is kind of on the end of the 7-day forecast. We'll have to see how that event plays out in the early part of the week and how that will affect the rain chances in the second half of the week. But I'm crossing my fingers right now that there could at least be a better shot of rain in the beginning of the work week. Why am I crossing my fingers? Well, we could definitely use some rain here in the month of July. If we take a look at where we stand for the entire year in terms of rainfall, we're still trending about 2.5 inches above average for the year. But here in the month of July, we're trending below average for the amount of rainfall we've had in the month. We really haven't seen much more than trace amounts at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport. So it's definitely been a dry July, especially compared to the June that we had. That was above average. So we certainly could use some rain here. Not that we really are in a drought or in any sort of conditions like that. It's just been a while since we've had a good shower or two. Now, we talked a little bit about rain. There's not a ton to mention in the forecast. Again, if you kind of copy and paste what you saw earlier this week into today and the upcoming weekend, that will really cover the bases for your rain chances in the next couple of days. But what about the numbers? Like I said, unfortunately, temperatures are going to be the bigger story heading into the upcoming weekend. The average for this time of year is 94 degrees. We've been trending right around average in terms of the numbers that we've been seeing. The record high is well into the 100s, which we in fact haven't seen our first 100-degree day yet this summer. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers that we're going to see over the next couple of days. Now again, I just mentioned we haven't seen 100 degrees yet. The earliest that we've seen 100 degrees here in Macon is May 26th. We definitely avoided that this upcoming May. The average typically occurs around July 2nd, so we've passed July 2nd without seeing a 100-degree day just yet. The latest it has ever occurred is September 18th, so that would be really, really late into the season. Right now, there's no models calling for 100 degrees in the next 7 days or so, so not expecting to see our first 100-degree day at least in the next week, which is a good thing. But when you see the heat indices, we're going to be feeling well into the triple digits, and that's really important. So let's talk about the actual numbers here first. Remember, it's right around average. You can see average up here at 94 degrees. Over the next 5 days or so, the actual numbers will stay right around that. It'll be slightly above average for sure, ranging from kind of the mid to upper 90s here through the next couple of days. But when you look at numbers like this, especially when we're in mid-July and you're not really seeing 100 degrees or anything like that, you're probably thinking, okay, that's actually not so bad to where we could be sitting, and you're not wrong. It's when you factor in the humidity that things start to feel a little bit worse. Take a look at the heat indices over the next couple of days. Really, 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 really warm. As we head into the weekend, we're going to keep climbing the heat index up even higher than that. So the reason that I show you this is for two reasons. One, we potentially could have some heat advisories issued for the upcoming weekend. And two, even if we don't have any heat advisories, this is just going to be really, really warm. I know we've kind of been talking a bit more about heat than about storm or rain chances, and sometimes it can be something that we forget to take seriously, especially here in Georgia. It's just something that we feel like we're used to. But when you have heat indices that get this high, it's definitely just something to take seriously. And what does take seriously mean? Just means take breaks in the shade, bring in extra water to wherever you're going. If you're hanging out by the pool, maybe get in the pool. Just make plans to cool yourself off, because sometimes heat illness can sneak up quicker than you think. So this is kind of a look at the next couple of days. Again, the reason that I mentioned heat advisory too is because we potentially could see one of those issued for maybe the end of the weekend or the beginning of next work week. Regardless of if we get a heat advisory or not, this heat is going to be in place. It's going to be really, really warm. The heat advisory is really just to let people know and bring some awareness to the situation. So what are the criteria for a heat advisory? Now, this is a little bit of a subjective question here, but it has to do with the certainty in the forecast. So if the National Weather Service is certain that the actual temperature will be 103 degrees or higher, or the feels like number will be 105 degrees or higher, they'll go ahead with a heat advisory. I believe they do that around 12 hours in advance. So the reason that we haven't seen one just yet is because heat indices are difficult to forecast. So the certainty of us going above 105 in terms of the feels like number is a little bit lower. And we'll just kind of see what the National Weather Service is thinking over the next couple of days or not, if they're going to end up going with that. Again, it really doesn't matter regardless of if they go with that or not. The fact of the matter is that the heat indices over the weekend are going to be well into the triple digits, and that heat's probably going to stick with us into the upcoming work week as well. So just kind of give you some background about how they make those decisions. That's what this graphic here is for. But again, not necessarily the biggest deal whether we get it or not. So to kind of put a bow on the weekend, at least what you can expect for the next couple of days, let's talk a little bit more about Friday first. Now remember, this is going to be the same kind of story as the weekend. It kind of kickstarts the forecast that you'll see over the next couple of days, and really the biggest thing that you'll notice throughout the day today is probably the heat. There's about a 20% chance of rain on there just for your typical summertime activity. The chance to catch maybe a brief shower or storm in the late afternoons and evenings. If you do catch a storm, just remember to pay attention. Again, some of these storms could get gusty or produce some hail, but hopefully they'll move on kind of just as quickly as they pop up. Actual numbers will be in the mid-90s, but again, when you factor in humidity, it will get a whole lot warmer than that. And then heading into the weekend, you can kind of rinse and repeat the forecast from today into the weekend. The temperatures may climb a degree or two hotter, but with the feels like numbers, again, it will still be feeling like the triple digits. The rain chances stay the same throughout the weekend. It's the same kind of thing. The chance to catch a brief shower or storm, and overall most places should stay pretty dry throughout the weekend. And in fact, I'm going to be hoping that we catch a brief shower or storm, because again, that will just really cool things down, and heat is going to be the biggest thing to pay attention to through the weekend. So I mentioned we were going to talk about the forecast and also take a look at space. So right now, starting actually yesterday, the Perseid meteor shower began to be visible. Now, this is a shower that won't really be totally visible, or at least won't be peaking until early August, but you potentially could see it. It's most visible before dawn, but they do say that it could be as visible as early as 10 p.m. at night. So check it out, see if you can see it yourself. Again, before dawn, so that's really, really early in the morning. But if you really want your best chances to see this meteor shower, it will be in kind of early August, right around August 12th to 13th. So we'll continue to kind of track that over the coming month or so and see if we can get a good glimpse of it at peak. But let us know if you do happen to see it before dawn. Again, you can see it kind of anytime now to late August. So that's just a little bit of extra tidbit of information for you there, but let's break down the forecast here on the 7-day. We kind of talked already about the weekend, and honestly, the forecast is just going to be marked by not a lot of change. I know I've been talking a lot to people here at the station about the forecast, and they've been saying it just feels like we've had the same thing for all of July, and you're not necessarily wrong. We've definitely fallen into that typical summertime pattern. I feel like June brought a bit more changes here and there, and we definitely had more rainfall throughout the month of June. July has been much more standard for what we would expect in a Central Georgia summer, and I think this is a very typical July Central Georgia summer forecast. So we talked about the weekend. Isolated rain chances, but if you've got outdoor plans, you want to head to the Make and Bacon, things like that, it should be a great chance to do so. Maybe have an umbrella in the car just in case, or have somewhere you can jump in case you do catch a brief shower. But other than that, you really shouldn't have to worry about rain too much. Really, really warm, so pack in a water bottle wherever you do go and making some plans to spend some time in the AC, and then you should have a fabulous weekend. The upcoming work week, believe it or not, gets even warmer than the weekend. So by Monday, that's kind of the peak of the 7-day here. We're climbing up to 97 degrees. Again, factoring in the heat or the humidity, those heat indices are going to be the highest that we've seen so far on the 7-day. So we're watching for heat advisories specifically for Sunday and for Monday. That will be really, really warm. And then the warmth continues into Tuesday. Now you can see the slight jump up in rain chances. Remember, I didn't say it was a crazy better chance at catching some rain, but Sunday heading into Monday and then sticking around through Wednesday, that's when that backdoor front comes through, and that's when your rain chances just get slightly better, meaning there may be a couple of more showers and storms than we have right now. That's about a 20 to a 30% chance of rain, so I'm not really talking about a major washout of an event unless the models start trending that way over the next couple of days. Right now, it still looks like it's going to be mostly dry. You just have a better chance at catching a shower or storm. Now, you see the downtick of temperatures here. If we do get some rain, that could really help with the temperatures. That may be what the models are picking up on things getting a little bit cooler through the next couple of days, but it really kind of just depends on what the rain does. And like I said, there's not necessarily a major weather maker driving our direction that's going to bring us a lot of rainfall or cool temperatures down. We're still mostly stuck in this pattern of just kind of upper level high pressure system, dealing with a lot of heating every day and then supporting the chance for afternoon and evening isolated showers and storms. So that's kind of the main story through the weekend. Maybe a better shot at rain Monday through Wednesday, but still not an overwhelming shot at rain. Overall, it's a mostly dry, really, really warm 7-day forecast. So hopefully you're able to get outside this weekend and at least enjoy some of the sunshine and stay cool. And hopefully you're able to duck and dodge a couple of those showers, unless of course you're looking for some welcome relief from the heat. So like I said, I was in for Alex Pry this morning, but he'll be back to you on Monday, resuming these streams every morning at 10:30 here on 13 WMAZ+. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great and safe weekend.